Right then, so why speaking matters so much. I'm going to share with you a couple of things now which hopefully will help you start moving. I'll just move along here so I'm framed better. Look at that. See? Or maybe a bit more like that. Like this. Which do you prefer? I'm wearing this t-shirt I'm wearing today. I know it's a little bit revealing, but it's a Sunday, so I can be a little bit all of plus it's probably the apocalypse. So did you know? Actually, I should save it. No, I'll tell you. I can tell people tomorrow anyway. Do you know what year Mad Max, the movie, was meant to be set in when the apocalypse happens and we're all driving around in muscle cars with guns and fighting for oil and gas and dog food and all the rest of it? Do you know what year that was meant to be set in? You ready for this? 2021. I'm not joking. Have a look. 2021, the year that Mad Max started, the year the world fell to bits. So it doesn't matter. We've got a good, let's see, we've got 4 months to go. Enjoy the party. Right then, why speaking matters. I'm going to share with you 10 things that are very important for you. If you're wondering about when you can become a speaker, we're going to, after that, be sharing with you. If you aren't ready to become a speaker on a podium, but you really are interested in growing yourself more within your industry, we'll give you a crash course with that. And I'll share with you in the next section after that, 9 questions you need to ask yourself before you speak up in a group, in a community, or when you're in a boardroom full of people or a town hall meeting. So doesn't matter what level you are, it's all gearing towards you in the future, because let's get you started. 10 years is not a lot of time, but before that we want to make sure that you are up and running, thinking of yourself as an industry icon, or at least thinking of yourself as very smart and capable of communicating to anybody anywhere, because that's where the new market is. Number 1, speaking matters because you can't grow until you speak and share. Think about it. You have got a number of thoughts in your head and they stay in your head, or maybe they go out when you talk to people about it. But you can't get it out your system and refill the gap with new stuff until you share it. Otherwise you get a headache and you get frustrated because nobody's listening because you haven't started talking. Once you start programming your mind to look for new things to share with people, that's why influencers are influencers. That's why people post on such a regular basis, because I know they're looking for new trends, new thoughts, new ideas. Once you start speaking, you're able to start doing that. And you're able to start moving that on, and other people can join in with you. So that's very important, number 1. Number 2, speakers have always ruled from the top. Think about it, the big bosses everywhere. How many big bosses can you name who don't speak? Not many. You could before, because you could even be the ruler of the country and not communicate to people, but the rulers of countries, especially now, are very effective speakers. And in every industry, that's the case as well. Why is that? Because they're noticeable. If you're a really smart thinker and you do not speak at all, who's going to know? Because people haven't got the attention span for waiting to find out and nurturing an answer out of you. If you're on a normal job and you're sitting there and with somebody who's always talking all the time, and as long as they don't say stupid things too often, everyone thinks of the smartest person in the room. Why? Because they're more vocal than everybody else in the room. That makes a huge difference, so you need to be able to be effective and start speaking. Number 2, when you do start speaking, your voice is your brand. The things you say, the things that you do are all based on the thoughts that are in here. So your brand starts growing as that gobby person who won't give it a rest. Maybe, but more likely to be the smart person who's always got a new insight, always got a great spin, always got something to contribute to the conversation. Or whenever something happens, people want your opinion. Have you ever noticed that at work? That there's somebody who always sits there, doesn't say much, maybe stroking their chin like that, if they've got a beard. And if a female, and they haven't got any facial hair, not saying everybody has, then somebody turns to them, the boss, and says, well, what do you think? They go, yeah, I agree with you, I think it's a good point. And then the boss feels empowered. Why? Because that person speaks, and that person is able to give a spin on it, even though they're very smart. Whereas you've seen people who you know are very smart, and when they get asked for their opinion, they go, oh, no. Then they leave the meeting and won't stop talking about it. What's the point? You've missed the opportunity to brand it. You've had the opportunity for the boss to see you as the next person to bring up in line to get promoted, and you never say anything to anybody, right? Speaking is important. Number 4, speaking costs nothing and means everything. This is the truth about it. Your ability to communicate costs very little at all. Your investment in yourself to become a better speaker, very, very, very important. And that will cost if you want to do it effectively, or you can learn over time, but we don't have time. Things are changing like this. But think about it. Your ability to speak is marketing. And that ability to speak and form arguments and have conversations is the same as posting on social media. Most social media is absolutely free. So therefore, your ability to speak, your ability to get arguments going, your ability to post and find content and share it with the world, which grows your influence. And the more influence you have, the more people want to do business with you. Where's my business noise? Look. See? See that there? That's a noise. So when money ideas, I should have done it 4 times. You can't grow until you speak. Speakers are those who are at the top. Your voice is your brand. And speaking costs nothing. That means everything. Okay, number 5. People will instantly follow you when you start speaking. Why? Because you've created an argument that they resound with. The actual ability to get people to get with you is about finding their Wi-Fi code. I'll explain that more in future sessions. But imagine that you walk into a hotel and you're looking for the Wi-Fi code so you can get free internet. They give you the code and they give you the password, and suddenly you've got access to everything. Audiences are exactly the same. Once you can instantly connect with them, they will follow you, and you can monetize that. It creates your legacy, your ability to be seen by people in the future if it's important. Honestly, for me, I'll tell you, because people say to me quite often, Dave, what's your legacy going to be? I don't care. I don't. Once I'm dead, I'm dead. Hopefully, my ashes will be kept in a vase and then scattered somewhere where Dave would have liked it. Dave wouldn't care. Dave's dead. All right? Just telling you now. Not yet, but when I am. So my legacy is not important. What I live for is the amount of people that I can help right now. But the people that can live life after death to me is very important. How many people will learn from the stuff that I put out there and carry on living with that stuff after I'm long gone? That's what legacy is. That's life after death for me. People will disagree, and I have no problem with that. I love to find your comments, especially on a Sunday where people are going to church and they're religious. I don't have a problem with any of that. I'm just saying my own thoughts. And I don't have a conflict with anything that you say either. I think it's important that we share. You might disagree. The only thing is, my daughter is my legacy, so be kind to her. Keep sending her money. In fact, if you want to send money now, I'll make sure it goes to a good place. Okay, number 7, gets you selected in a crowd. Very simple. If there's a whole crowd of nothing, whole crowd of people who are at the top of their game, supposing you go to an industry event and everybody is super qualified, even better qualified than you, if you're the person who doesn't mind putting their hand up and saying something in front of everybody, in front of the decision makers and the influencers and the sponsors, then you will be selected, even if you're not the smartest person there. Why? Because you can speak. It's like a martial art in communication. It's like a martial art in positioning and branding. Speaking is so important, more now than ever, because on the digital landscape, your ability to speak means you can create video, and 80% of content nowadays on the internet is video. Number 8, I've said it before already, it's a martial art in communication. Your ability to speak and your ability to speak effectively in short bite-sized steps will get you elected to whatever you decide you want to be. You want to be a politician? Done. You want to be a head of industry? Done. You want to be promoted in your job? Done. You want to get your business from 0 up to hero, so people all say, did you hear what such and such said about the industry? Yeah, really fascinating. You think about the people that you really love, the Simon Sineks, the Gary Vaynerchuks, the Ty Lopez, the Grant Cardones of this world. Are they effective business people? Yeah, they are. But more than anything, they're effective communicators. That ability to grab an audience who moves with you and invests in you is so key, and it's so important, because therefore they will help you grow your brand and your business, and the more you put in, the more you can get out, and you grow all the way up like that. That was like one of his dances, like the Macarena, isn't it? That's a birdie song. We could do a new one, couldn't we? Look, boom, boom, boom. But the problem is I can't do this at the same time and make that noise. I'll have to come back with that. It's a work in progress. And you saw it here first, so don't steal it. Nobody's going to steal it, Dave. I know. Shh. Number 9, it's so easy to do today. It really is. The ability to speak is probably one of the sharpest, fastest ways of doing it, and it's non-tech at this moment, but it can be really enhanced by tech. Everything you say can be turned into a podcast. The podcast world is kicking the hiney of the radio world. Why? Because anybody can do it, and there's no adverts. And there's one of the reasons I stopped working on radio. I'll tell you this now. I used to be quite famous on radio. I did. What do you mean no? Stop looking at me. It's a poster of Aragorn from Lord of the Rings on his horse. Stares. It's creepy. So I used to be on radio all the time, but I hated talking about the latest shopping sales and products that had no interest to me, and famous stories about celebrities who are doing this in a different country. I just don't want to talk about that stuff anymore. I know people enjoy it. I know people liked it, but for me, bleh, my brain was turning numb, so I walked away. So that might be the thing that you decide. I want to talk about my industry. I want to talk about my stuff, not anybody else. In a podcast world, you can. It's worth billions of dollars. It's growing at such a rate, and it can be sponsored. You want to see the very best? Check out Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is fantastic. Great stand-up comedian, great TV presenter, got a back history of loads of TV shows he's been involved in, and he does shows that are generally every day for about 2.5 hours. Talking to all sorts of celebrities. And Joe's a genius. He's really funny. He's really smart. You might not agree with everything he said. Definitely won't agree with everything his guests say. But he has about 12 million downloads of his podcast every single month. Yeah. You think you can monetize that? You can, unless you need that on the top of your head. Number 10, the world is watching you. Right now, we have a lockdown in most places, or at least many places across the world. Some people are coming out of it, which is great, and it's a good sign, and so on. But there's still a caution about it, and there's a very good chance we'll go back in. Now, if we do go back in, that means less socializing physically with people, more going online. I think also the trend for going online and going on your phone and other things like that, gadgets and so on, is not going to go away. It's not going to go away during the foreseeable future. So what that means to me, and it may mean the same to you, is that we really have an opportunity of a captive audience in quarantine who's looking out for stuff that will make their lives feel better, help them earn money, get more love, get better health, and help them get to the next level of where they've always wanted to be, even if you don't know where that is. And you can do that. You can create it. So that's why speaking matters. To start it going now, imagine you start today. Imagine you take the Industry Icon program, start working with me, speak on stage, start getting your voice, start working towards creating your brand and your product, getting your voice out there, connecting, creating a community of people around you. In 10 years, you would be a master. I was going to say you'd be a mistress, but that's a completely different thing. But think about the effectiveness you could have in 10 years. Well, you don't have to wait that long. But the moment you start speaking and you've got a really well-formed argument, that's the moment people start paying attention to you. That's the moment you start having an impact. And that's the moment that you will start seeing a change in your brand and the way that people connect with you. I love your thoughts and I love your comments as always. I expect it to be a little quieter today because it is a Sunday, but I don't take the day to do nothing. I do stuff that's always going to get you higher up the food chain. Feel free to share, feel free to comment, and it's a pleasure having you with me on Speak on Stage.